everybody, and welcome to the channel. My name is Rob. In today's video I'm going to be talking about the Viper TV shows from the 90s. It was basically a 90s version of Knight Rider. The only difference is the car did not have artificial intelligence. So the car was obviously a Dodge Viper. The first 3 seasons, I don't know if they changed the car and they had a different car throughout the first 3 seasons. But the first 3 seasons was a 1994 red Dodge Viper RT10. It starred Dorian Haywood as Julian Wilkes. He was the creator of the Viper project and the Viper car. They basically built the car to fight against crime. It morphed into a silver car. I will, at the end of this video, I will attach the pictures to show you what I'm talking about, and all that stuff. So it started out in the pilot episode. They were going through drivers, trying to find someone who could drive it. And at one part of the TV show, the premiere movie, they found a guy by the name of Michael Payton. He was a criminal. He was like a wheelman, very, very good behind the wheel. They took him down. He was in a car accident. They took him. They basically erased their memory and reprogrammed him as Joe Astor. He was in it for the first season. They had like a big power plant as their headquarters. There was Joe Napoli, I think how you say his name. He was the head of the motor pool at the police department. I forget what exactly his role was in the beginning. I think he was just mainly helping them get information. Later on, later on, I don't know if it was later on in season 1, I don't really remember, or season 2, he pretty much became the Viper mechanic. So it was basically in the beginning one for the main characters. It was just Joe Astor, played by James McCaffrey, Julian Wilkes, played by Dorian Haywood, and James McCaffrey playing Joe Astor, and Michael Payton. For the people who knew him as Michael Payton, there was one episode where he lost his memory and he thought he was Michael Payton again, or something along those lines. I don't really remember. But there was almost nothing this car could do. It morphed. It had a probe that came out of the back. It looked like the teeth came out. They used it to push stuff or go through stuff. There's weapons that came out the side for rockets and grappling hooks. The tires turned into an off-road mode, so they were big, huge off-road tires. And it was just a really good show. Basically a 90s version of Knight Rider. The car could not drive itself, but they could remote control it. And literally, not only did the outside change, but the inside changed. There was like a little button underneath the dash behind the steering wheel. You push that button and it completely morphs. When it was stock Viper, basically the RT10 convertible mode, Like I said, I'll show you pictures. It morphed, and even the inside changed. Not really that much, but like buttons came out. There was the part of the dashboard turned over, so it had the two TV screens right there in the middle that you could see and watch stuff on, communicate with the team when you had the drone, or whatever, I forget whatever they called it. You know, you could see the camera, you could see everything the drone was seeing on it. It was a great show. Season 2, the characters changed. The first season they were in a big electrical plant. I'll see if I can find pictures on it and leave it up so you could see what it was. The second season, it changed characters. Julian Wilkes was no longer in it. They had, I can't think of his name. Jeff Cake, Kaake. I'm going to leave a description below of all the characters in it. Joe Napoli, who played I can't think of his name right off the top of my head. Franklin Waters. He was the mechanic. They had another like computer whiz that was, and she ran operations in the headquarters, which was an old subway tunnel train station. I forget her name. Like I said, I'll leave a link in below. It was Allie something. And then they had Cameron Westlake, which was basically the liaison for the team and police. So which basically relayed stuff to the team from the police. Was basically in charge of everything because they needed a liaison in order to continue work. So they had Thomas Cole, who was the driver of the Viper. So that basically went on for lasted for 2 seasons. The second and third season, where it was Thomas Cole and all those other characters, and the Dodge Viper RT10. Really good show. Like I said, the Viper could go off-road. The tires turned into off-road tires. They had a drone that popped out of the back. I forget what they technically called it. Could do all sorts of stuff. Shoot off rockets. It also had an EMP pulse. So it like shot out the EMP pulse. And it came out like one spot. Like it had one on each side, and somehow you could select a weapon. So the same spot the rockets came out was the same spot the grappling hook came out. And then it had an EMP pulse that came out too. It basically had only 2 holes and like 4 or 5 different weapons that came out. Rockets, grappling hook, EMP pulse. Somehow I think it had machine guns too in the part. Well, like I said, it turned into off-road tires, all that stuff, and a bunch of different things came out. So that was basically the way the car was for the first 3 seasons. Then in season 4, it changed. It was, I don't know exactly what the year was. I believe it was like a 1996 or 1997. It was a blue Viper GTS. And there's even more things this car could do. I mean, it was awesome. I mean, the body change, like I said, the outside of the car was, like I said, the blue Viper GTS instead of the old Viper RT10. But it pretty much still had all the same weapons. So yeah, it was a 1996 Viper, as I was saying, blue GTS. Very nice car. I think everything else inside was the same. It might have had a few newer weapons, but for the most part, it still had the grappling hook, the missiles, the rockets that came out, the MP pulse. Also in the thing, both things had a part in the back that opened up and shot out a rocket from the back, or grappling hook, whatever you needed. Still had the like I said, the drone. They called it something else in the show, though. I can't really remember. I'm gonna try to look it up, and then I'll leave what it is in the video somewhere, or do a picture of it and write on what they called it. Not really that it matters, but oh, they called it the Probe. That's what they called it. I guess the word drone wasn't around in that when that came out. But as far as the things the Viper could do, the new Viper. So, the original Viper, the red Viper RT10, the only really changes it made on the outside was the off-road tires. And literally the tires got bigger, the rims changed a little bit. But as far as the Viper GTS, the blue one, when it morphed, it looked exactly like the Viper in the first 3 seasons. When they always referred to the Viper, they always called it the Defender. So yeah, like I said, whenever they referred to the Viper, they called it the Defender, and then the drone was the Probe. But the other thing the GTS version could do that the regular Viper didn't do was it could also turn into a hovercraft. And it literally looked like a hovercraft when they did that. And all that stuff. So it was like a really good show. They fought crime. So like you said, they had like the RT10 for seasons 1 through 3. And the first season, it was James McCaffrey was the driver of the Defender, and Julian Wilkes, who was played by Dorian Haywood. He was only in it for one season. And like you said, you had like a one that ran headquarters, or the base. Her name was Allie something. I'm going to leave all the names of the characters and their real life names in the description below. So go ahead and read that. And then you had Thomas Cole, played by Jeff Cake or something like that. I forget his name. I can't even figure out how to pronounce it. And then Joe Napote played, I don't even know if I'm saying his name right, Franklin Waters. First season, he was the motor pool officer. And then some point towards the end of the season or middle of season or even just at the beginning of season 2, he no longer was working with the motor pool and was pretty much the full-time mechanic. Helped them on, Defender, helped them on cases, all that stuff. But it was basically, like I said at the beginning of the video, it was basically a 90s version of Knight Rider. It's the way they're referring to it. And they fought crime. They went after the bad guys. They had all sorts of weapons. I don't know if you can find it anywhere to watch streaming. I know you can watch like a couple of videos on YouTube. You can watch like the full pilot episode. I don't know if you can watch any more. They don't like have the full episodes, but you can still, if you type in Viper TV series, you might be able to find something to watch it. At least check it out, and then if you like it, then you can find the complete series on Amazon, and I don't think it was that expensive. That's where I got the complete series. I used to watch it when I was younger. I loved the show, and when I saw it complete series and it was a good price, I went and bought it because I loved the show. I've watched it. And all that stuff, and I highly recommend it, especially if you like Knight Rider, any of those shows, like Knight Rider. I definitely think you would like this show, even if you're kind of like me and like any shows with a lot of action involving cars and high speeds stuff. I think you'll like it. So yeah, go check that out. I'm gonna leave some pictures of the both the Viper GTS Defender, the RT10 Viper. Try to see if I can find a picture of it in off-road mode and hovercraft mode. Excuse me. And leave those. I'll see if I can find the probe and leave a bunch of those pictures at the end of this video. Anyways, thanks for watching. I hope you liked this video, and stay tuned for more to come to the channel, and all that good stuff. So have a great day, and I'll see you in the next one. Thanks for watching.